We'll begin with 2-minute opening statements from each of the candidates, beginning with Jim Graham. But you have to sit down to make your opening statement because you have to speak into the microphone.
Well, I have to walk for a minute to find the chair.
Well, I'm sorry, we don't have time for that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Is this on?
It should be. Get right very close to it.
Hello?
There you go.
Hello?
It's on.
Is this on?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jerry. I'm delighted to be here, and I want your support for my re-election as the Ward 1 council member. And I am running on my record, and it's a record of solid achievement in Ward 1, serving the people who live there. Number one, first and foremost, we have responded to the day-to-day quality of life issues that people care about. And I won't say I'm the most accessible council member, or maybe I will. No. But I certainly am very responsive to all those needs and have been so year in, year out. We have transformed Ward 1 in the 12 years that I have been in office. And we have done so by transforming what were vacant lots surrounded by chain link fences where nobody was displaced into productive properties, housing, jobs, affordable housing, other types of housing. We've done it. Ward 1 is a different and better place today than it was when I took office. But we have also maintained our diversity, because as evidence of that, 3,000 units of low-income, not affordable, low-income housing have not only been preserved but rehabilitated along the 14th Street corridor. In addition, when people talked about saving our safety net just recently, I stepped forward with the millionaire's tax, which I had introduced a year ago, and I reintroduced this time. We got 5 votes for the proposition that those who make the most money, those who have incomes of $350,000 taxable, ought to provide just a little bit more for those who have the least ability to pay. And I'm pleased to say that we came so close to passing this that some of my colleagues got right nervous about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Smith.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Smith, and I'm running for the Ward 1 City Council seat because I think Ward 1 is a great place to live and work, and I want to keep it that way. But on the trajectory we're on right now, Ward 1 is becoming more expensive, underemployed, overdeveloped, and less green, and I think we need to do something about it right now.
Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
I currently serve as the executive director of DC Voice. I used to be on the Board of Education elected to represent Ward 1, and I ran because I believed I wanted to be part of a democratic system of checks and balances that could move forward school reform. I left in 2007 to run DC Voice in Ward 1, which works with principals, teachers, and parents to conduct community action research that helps inform this city council of what's needed to improve public education in the District of Columbia. Now, I think Jim Graham's done some good things for Ward 1 over the last 12 years. If you ask a lot of people in Ward 1, 8 years would have been enough, 12 years would have been 16 years would be far too many. 3 things I think we have not had leadership on in Ward 1 include public education, crime and safety, and responsible development. Jim Graham stood in front of a group of U Street citizens just 2 weeks ago and said he thinks the schools in this city are magnificent. And quite frankly, I think that's what happens when you've been down at City Council for 12 years and shows how out of touch some of our representatives, particularly here in Ward 1, are. Because when I go through Ward 1 talking to parents, teachers, students, most of us are embarrassed with the level of opportunity we have provided young people in the city. When I talk about responsible development, it's convenient for some people to have all the big box stores in Ward 1, the Target and the Ruby Tuesdays, the Payless, the Starbucks, and all the tax abatements we gave to build those and the luxury condominiums along Georgia Avenue. But more and more, that's contributed to the reduction of the small, medium-sized businesses, the family businesses that contribute to that economic and cultural diversity that attracted us, so many of us there in the first place. And when I talk about crime and safety, I'll just show you one thing.
Time is up. I'm sorry.
So I'll come back to it. But we hear more and more about all the police in Adams Morgan, but at the same time, we've seen basic crime issues skyrocket in Ward 1 over the 12 years that this man's been our representative.
Mr. Weaver, 2 minutes.
Hello, my name is Bryan Weaver, and I am a native progressive. My first job here in Washington, D.C. was working for the late Senator Paul Wellstone, who gave me one form of progressive education. The secondary education that I received in the progressive causes was from the late Joe Butler. I think each of us probably has our own definition of what progressive is, of what that means, what the progressive agenda is. In my mind, it's this. In this city, we have a completely broken system. Corporate connections and corporate influence in this city run the agenda. I think if you're progressive, if you're a true progressive, you fight against the corporate interests in this city. You fight against the ability of one person being able to bundle 10 times as much, or one corporation being able to bundle 10 times as much money as a single individual. You fight against non-bid earmarks. We've heard a lot about earmarks earlier, but when they're non-competitive earmarks, it goes to friends of the people that are pushing the earmarks. I think if you're progressive, you fight against this attorney general. You don't give your vote to him. If you're fighting for against the corporate interest, you don't take the most amount of corporate money than any other council member or all other people running for re-election combined. You don't divert money from Metro to pay for parking garages. You don't fight for 20-year tax abatements for people who have burnt people out of buildings in Adams Morgan. You don't take special interest money and then take away the most important parts of the anti-lead legislation that was came up last year. It's a complicated ward. It's complicated issues. We have to raise the level beyond just who responds to emails. Oversight is a giant part of this job, and we have been failed miserably in Ward 1 by the oversight of this council. Thank you.